I was self-taught, so my first paid job as a chef was opening the Duck.
Right.
I jumped in. I had no choice. So I don't know, for the first 10 years, I think I had about 20 hours a week sleep. 120 hours a week I was working.
You used to sleep in the
Sleep
laundry,
in the yeah, and
upstairs.
levels of exhaustion I never knew existed. Now, had I have had a choice, I don't even know if I can answer this. I'm so pleased I did stick with it. But had I have had a choice then, with some of those levels of exhaustion I got to, would I be able to? I don't know.
If you had a choice, meaning if everything wasn't riding on that.
Yeah, if
you had a way out.
Yes.
Okay.
At the time. Now, this I look at it very, very differently. In the Hind's Head, so we've got the Fat Duck, and next door we've got a pub with a Michelin star, the Hind's Head.
Right.
300, 400-year-old building, and there's a fireplace. There's a fireplace there with a phrasing gold leaf, and I've walked past this thousands of times. And only in about the last year or so did I realise the importance of this phrase, this sentence. It says, "Fear knocked on the door, faith answered. No one was there." And
what does that mean to you?
To me, it means that when I use the word potential, everything on this planet has potential. So even the receptors behind our eyeballs are called action potentials. It's the potential for action. Action potential, potential for action. Cold can only exist with the potential of hot. Batman only exists with the potential of Joker. If Joker didn't there, he couldn't put his fancy PVC latex suit on and go and fight crime. You need crime to fight it. Right. And now, if you look at Nietzsche, said you've got to feel pain to have pleasure. That I think that's also can be translated in different ways. You don't have to feel pain, but every human being goes through some level of suffering in some shape or form.
Yeah.
And every individual's level of suffering is no greater or lesser than another individual's. It's relative to their own situation. And so I'm not saying we have to have fear to have a belief or faith, let's say, because it's fear and faith like hot and cold. Yeah. It's only when the hot becomes hotter than the cold, or the fast becomes faster than the slow, or the oxygen becomes greater than the CO2, or the faith becomes stronger than the fear, that determines the direction you're going.
Right.
When the fear becomes stronger than the belief, well, then you become pulled by fear. When the belief becomes stronger than the fear, you get pulled by the belief. And I realised, and this is where this significance is so funny, I just walked past it and maybe subconsciously it did go in.
Probably.
My belief was so strong, and it wasn't about getting a load of awards, because every time I got one,
you didn't feel any better.
It's never enough.
Never enough.
It was like a drug, elation, and then you come and doubt, I need another one. But it was never enough.
Right.
But the belief, in fact, was those emotions, I think. I'm not, there's something out there, rather than, we say everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. There's a reason for everything happening. And it happens in both directions again at the same time. So this discovery, when I started becoming more aware and then becoming aware of becoming aware, and I get those moments of excitement when I discover something. Maybe I discover something that somebody else shows me. Maybe I discover something for myself. Or I have all these what if questions that get me really excited. And there's more, well, there's not more, I was going to say there's more to life than what. So I don't know where I was going with that sentence. However, every breath is a potential new life. Because just becoming aware of our breath one time, you can go back and revisit everything that you've experienced. So you're continually working in many different directions, and then that's when time starts to expand, because it's when time becomes valuable, becomes richer.
Mm. And when the end of that quote it says, "and no one was there," does that mean that all of this is kind of an illusion in our brains?
Yeah.
And that we're fighting these internal battles? And
Totally.
okay.
That's exactly.
At the end
exactly
of the
what
day, none of
it's-
this matters.
Yeah.
And all of it matters, and there is no time, and
Absolutely.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
And then back to that fear and faith. Like, you need to ask yourself that question. What is that fear, and what is your faith? And then if
Yes.
nothing's going to happen at the end of the day, then why don't we just all be everything we can be, or why don't we investigate everything we can?
Yeah. All of a sudden, it's like a new universe opens up.